Hey, what's up guys? I hope everyone is doing well. I have a little bit of spicy information for you today. This is some information that kind of flew under the radar. We had some previously data mined embellishment buffs. This happened a couple weeks ago where they were like, increasing things by 1% here, 2% there. Very minor things. It seemed like it was just generic balancing. But recently we discovered that they have done a lot more, and it flew under the radar, and we're kind of only realizing it today. So as you can see on the screen, a lot of these things have been buffed by quite a bit now. Now we're talking like double digits, sometimes like up to 25%, 40%, sometimes even triple digits. So what does this mean for us? Well, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to go over everything that you need to know and what this means for us as Havoc Demon Hunters. So essentially, as you might have gathered from the thumbnail, we're going to be using this new sort of toxic embellishment. So basically they are boots that have a positive and a negative effect. The ones that we're going to be crafting are the Toxic Thorn foot wraps. So the effect reads, the thorns feed off your vitality, reducing stamina by 67. Your spells and abilities have a chance to launch magical thorns at your target, healing allies for 9,389 health, or striking enemies for 4,172 nature damage. These effects are increased by 100% if you equip an item crafted with a Toxified Armor Patch. So previously these just weren't tuned high enough for it to really be worth it. We had our lariat that we were using, which was extremely good. We had things like blue silken lining or fang adornments. But if we go back to these changes here, we look right down here. This one, Toxic Thorn foot wrap stamina reduction increased by 25%. Okay, that's fine, right? Damage bonus increased by 172%. And healing bonus increased by 102. We don't need to worry about the healing bonus. That only happens if you are actually like targeting an ally, if you're a healer. But as a DPS, you only ever get the damage procs when you're targeting enemies. So the fact that it was increased by 172% is very substantial. Not to mention, when you throw a Toxified Armor Patch in the mix as well, you're essentially wearing two of these, right? You're getting double the effect. The lost stamina that we get from the boots isn't necessarily an issue. It's going to be a couple thousand health. With us, with our leech, we kind of make up for it. It's nothing really to be too concerned about. We're just going to be doing so much more damage with this that it's worth the loss. To wear these things, we are going to need to kind of shuffle around our crafted gear and our current embellishments, because you can still only have two embellishments at once, right? Right now, you might have something like your lariat in your neck, and maybe you have, maybe you have blue silken lining on a piece of gear, or you have it on your ring, or maybe you have fang adornments on a weapon. But you are going to have to shift this around a bit if you want to use this Toxic Armor Patch and the boots, right? Because the boots count as one embellishment, and the Toxified Armor Patch counts as another. This is not to say that you can't still use your hot pocket, your alchemical flavor pocket. That still does not count as an embellishment, but the problem with this is that it's going to take up a embellishment slot on a piece of crafted gear. So you might not have enough pieces of crafted gear at your disposal currently that you can afford to have both of these and also have your hot pocket on. But we'll get to that. It's still very worth to get rid of, whatever you might have, whether it's the lariat or whatever other ones you have. So the thing is, not only will you have to remove whatever embellishment you currently have, but you'll have to make sure you have a second crafted piece of gear to put the Toxified Armor Kit on. And it needs to be armor, so not a weapon, not jewelry. We look at the tooltip, it says epic leather and mail, right? So it has to be head, shoulders, chest, gloves, belt, pants, or boots. So if you need to remove a embellishment from your gear, the way that you do that is you fly over to the Obsidian Citadel and you buy this dust item from Grifta. He's at the very top of the Obsidian Citadel. And then you just basically get a crafter to do a recraft of that item, and you would put that dust thing in place of an embellishment. And then you recraft it, and it removes the previous embellishment and just puts that placeholder dust item on. So if you guys aren't up to date on what's happening with the Elemental Lariat, essentially it was too powerful in the previous patch in 10.0. So they're making changes to it where the proc duration from the elemental lariat gets extended by 1 second for each gem you have equipped. So it starts off at 5 seconds, and then it goes up depending on how many gems you have. So at the start of the expansion, at the start of the patch, when we just first move into 10.1, you're going to be getting the max effect, the max duration from your lariat. But then as you start replacing your gear and you're getting rid of some of these sockets, that's going to be decreasing the duration of the proc on the lariat, right? So it's going to get worse, essentially, as we go through the expansion. I keep saying expansion, I mean patch. And then towards the end, as you gain more sockets, it's going to go back up. But these boots with this armor patch is actually just more DPS than a fully maxed out optimized lariat, believe it or not. And there are sims to prove that. I will try to put them up on the screen right now. These were done by Shatterek, and yeah, it's insane how good this is. So because you're replacing your lariat, you're gonna have to find another neck, right? So what can we do? Well, your options are a neck from Mythic Plus, right, that you can upgrade. Currently you can only upgrade them to 415, which is kind of low. So what I would suggest doing is just crafting a different neck. There are different necks that you can make with the crafting order system. Believe it or not, it's not only lariat. You can make a Torque of Past Time. So I made one of these kind of in advance. I put crit haste on it. We'll talk about why I did that in a minute. And then don't forget, you can also put 2 more sockets on this neck. It comes with 1 in it, and then you could buy the tiered medallion settings from the auction house and put 2 more sockets on it. So yeah, I've made my neck, I've made my boots, and I have my armor patch. I'm all ready to go. Essentially what I'm going to be doing once 10.1 hits and all these changes are in is I'm going to be replacing my lariat with the Torque of Past Time. I will be taking these boots and putting them on here. And then from there, I will be replacing the blue silken lining on my belt with a Toxified Armor Patch. And this does work because belt is leather and it is armor. Therefore, the armor patch will go on it. So that's pretty much it for me. But for you, it might be a different situation. I can't necessarily tell you exactly the changes you need to make because your armor and your setup is going to be different than mine. So you're gonna have to figure that out. But what I would say is definitely replace, once you get the boots, put them on, replace your lariat with the Torque of Past Time, and then it's up to you to figure out what other slot you want to essentially have a crafted piece on. That's going to dictate which slot you put your armor patch on. I would go for whatever is going to be the best upgrade. One piece of advice that I can give you is any piece of crafted gear that you have right now that is 418, it is going to be turned into 421 after 10.1. So currently it's 418, right? But then whenever 10.1 drops, that day when you log in, that 418 piece is going to be 421. So just keep that in mind. That might sway your decision one way or another. So just some other things to note is essentially the proc effect on these boots. They are hasted, which means the more haste you have, the more times it procs, the more procs you get out of it. Now, the interesting thing for us as Havoc is the proc effect can crit. That's right. It can crit, and it is affected by Know Your Enemy, meaning that whenever it does crit, it's also getting the crit damage bonus from Know Your Enemy. So currently, gain critical strike damage equal to 80% of your critical strike chance. So that proc effect is not only being doubled by your Toxified Armor Patch, then it's also critting, and then it's getting the crit damage bonus from Know Your Enemy. So this is why it's good for us. It's pretty insane. You'd be surprised at how much it actually does for an embellishment. So this means it's going to be changing our stat priority a little bit. Going into this new patch, a lot of the things that we're getting, where our damage is coming from, a lot of these procs are all hasted, right? We have like the Krog Tusk, we have the Diurna Ring, we have the Amulet for a while. By the way, yes, we are going to be using the Diurna Ring, sorry, the Aranog Ring. Seal of Diurna's Chosen, yeah, but the one from Aranog, it's hasted. This will only be bis for you if it has a socket on it. If you have a mythic one with a socket on it, it is bis, otherwise it's not. But again, this is something that's hasted. We have the Amulet, I said Krog Tusk, we have the boots. Haste is going to be more important for us, especially in raid, right? That's always been the case, actually. In raid, haste is way more valuable. So lucky enough, these boots are crit haste. What do you know? And that also explains why I put crit haste on my neck. Again, this is going to be something you'll have to sim for yourself. I just put this on temporarily as a kind of a placeholder thing. It's very easy to just go in and toss a different missive on it to change the stats if you want, so it's not a big deal. Also, with this, these boots here, the proc effect on it is considered a spell or a ranged attack. So it also procs one of the trinkets from the raid that is supposed to be one of our best trinkets, if not the best, the Igneous Flowstone. I might have to make a whole nother video on this trinket in particular, but just know that it's a thing and we'll talk about it at a later date. The other thing to consider is that there still is a nice crafted cloak that you could make with kind of a built-in defensive embellishment that we might have used prior to this. But unfortunately, this buff to the toxic thorn foot wraps is just too good. So yeah, what you can do to be prepared kind of is, you know, just go ahead and make these boots. You can make them now. If you have the spark, you can go ahead and make them. You can go ahead and buy a Toxified Armor Patch. I would strongly suggest doing this soon. You can see on Orbos Exchange right here, the Toxified Armor Patch has skyrocketed in price just over the past half a day. So buy it now while you can. You can, like I said, you can make your neck and just have all these things ready to go next Tuesday whenever the patch hits. And yes, if you do craft an item in Season 1, you are able to take that item and carry it over to the next season and continue upgrading it with the new upgrade system in the new patch 10.1. All right, so that's it. I hope you guys have some good luck trying to get these items and getting them made beforehand. It's definitely a good thing to do. Wouldn't hurt to do, and you know, worst case, you've wasted a spark or two, but you probably have a couple sitting in your bags, right? I hope you didn't hand in all of your focus, your primal infusions for rep at this guy here. Hope you didn't do that. Hope you stuck a couple of these in your bags and didn't touch them for a while, as I did. And I will try to keep you guys updated on this situation if things happen to get nerfed, changed, whatever. I will definitely put out another video. If you want some more like live updates, you can always join our Discord. We have a fantastic community over there. If you're looking for information on Havoc Demon Hunter builds, the latest builds, you know, just the latest and greatest for Havoc, come over to the Discord. It's not just me over there answering questions. We have a whole group of very knowledgeable people who can answer your questions for you. And we even look through logs sometimes. One thing I also want to do going into this new raid tier is have channels for each individual raid boss where we can kind of talk shop for each one, go over strats, tips and tricks for each one. So I'm going to be setting that up in the very near future. The raid's coming out in about 2 weeks now. So if you're looking to, you know, learn and kind of optimize your performance on these raid bosses, make sure you join the Discord. Link will be in the description. Head on over there, say hi, say what's up, and hopefully learn a thing or two. All right, thanks for watching this video. Hope you liked it. Give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you next time. Peace.